Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait for this. This is gonna be awesome.
Oh, we're not gonna start it with 10 minutes of replay reviews?
Yeah. Now that was a tough end. I really wish they had finished that game faster so I could have had dinner with my family, but uh,
I was holding a baby for the last 3 minutes of game time, so I will need to rewatch it anyway. It's the first playoff game at the Intuit Dome. Pretty cool visual there. Crowd seems very into it, and you and I are extremely into this
very
game.
into it.
Oh, apologies.
Yeah, the Intuit Dome. That's good. Are we the first person to ever make that joke? I think so.
I mean, I didn't make it. I didn't intend for it to be a joke.
But yet you did.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm in a good mood. That Pistons Knicks game was fun. This is gonna be a fun one too. Yes, it's on NBA TV. The reason that is on NBA TV is because the league wanted OKC to be on TNT, not NBA TV, as the 1 seed. For all that everyone complains about small markets not being on national TV, they wanted to introduce OKC. That was the reporting from Bennett Durando of the Denver Post of why this is on this.
And by the way, that game, for those who are interested, currently 40-29 in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies at almost the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, am I going to have to watch that whole game after this? This timing is really bad.
We'll have to see. And Michael Porter Jr., we knew he was going to play after he's dealing with a shoulder issue, and he is going to start. But of course, it'll be worth watching how this changes his role, how this changes Adelman's rotations.
Yeah, let's get started here. Yeah, there is the wall. If the Clippers win this round, especially if it were somehow a Lakers Clippers conference finals, I think I would just go down to LA for that 2 weeks. Or if Lakers and Clippers are both playing in the conference semifinals at the same time, which could happen too. So they've got Jamal Murray now on Dunn. This is more of a 1-2-2, it looks like. Zubac goes to the lefty hook. I thought he actually had the righty hook. Got to get better there. Here's Aaron Gordon going right through Dunn. Good, strong hands by Gordon. Jokic, we haven't seen much of him pushing the ball up in the first 2 games, other than the first quarter of game 2.
And I already saw somebody in the comments say that the rewind mode is available on mobile now, which is very exciting. So for those of you on playback, easier for you to sync up with us, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and worth noting too that this will be one of our last streams on YouTube for that reason. We're going to be going playback exclusively relatively soon, but we want to get the word out at least a little bit. But we think playback is a superior product. So this is back to a 1-2-2 zone right now with Gordon at the top. They get Zubac's rolling. Leonard goes in for the dunk. He's blocked by Jokic. Wow. Now Leonard is going to get fouled from behind. I think that was one of the guards who got him.
I want to see whether this dunk was blocked or he just missed it.
Kawhi doesn't miss a lot of dunks. When you have big hands like that, it's tough to miss a dunk. And I guess this will be a non-shooting foul. Now Denver gets into man-to-man. Zubac's up top. They want to screen for Powell out of the corner. Gordon is on him. They've got Murray on Kawhi. Powell just shoots the 3 anyway and drains it.
Norm Powell had a really rough game 1 and then had a rough game 2 until the end, where he really kicked into gear and had 5 huge points late.
Here's Murray off the screen, trailed by Dunn. Dunn goes down. Jokic maybe clipped him. Jokic going to the soft floater there. And because Dunn went down, that required Zubac to come over, and Jokic was open. Harden off the screen. Now Zubac's good rotation from Michael Porter Jr. off of Dunn. They can't get it to Dunn, who wasn't in a position to do anything anyway.
And Gordon there had Jamal Murray, but just read it too late.
Is there a possibility they could play Chris Dunn off the floor? That would be fascinating. They haven't gotten there yet. Here's Gordon going window, a shot he's perfected this season. Kawhi with his first attack up top. Jokic in a soft drop. Dunn being left wide open. He'll drive. Stop from behind. Porter Jr. has made a couple nice plays. Still plenty of time for Harden. I thought he had the step back. Instead, he's going to drive and pick up a little cheap one on Christian Braun.
And that is the second team foul on the Denver Nuggets. The Clippers have one. And we'll, of course, be monitoring that closely.
Are the playback streams available to watch if we're not able to catch the game live? I think there's a way to publish the replays. It won't have the video in it, but that feature does exist. I need to just explore how it works, which I would imagine is probably hitting a button. Yeah, Denver getting off to a nice start here early. One transition bucket, one Nikola Jokic floater out of pick and roll. Those are the things that look a little bit easier for this offense. Everything's been difficult for them. Murray, they're going to the post here, Jokic. Interesting. See if they can draw a foul on Zubac. Jokic goes baseline. Beat him. Gets it right back, though, easily. Zubac just got shed all the way to the free throw line.
I think he's complaining he got hit in the face.
Dunn. Yeah, they want to just get Murray onto Harden first. That's a very soft switch, though. I don't know if I would give that up. Dunn above the break. Good contest by Brown, but Dunn hits it anyway.
And Chris Dunn, he's done this in a number of recent games. He challenged him to hit a three, and he hits one early. Definitely did it against the Warriors and in one of the two games in Denver as well.
Murray, pressured by Dunn. Porter Jr. is going to bring Kawhi into the action. Jokic tried the backdoor. Zubac went right off his foot. Wasn't a kickball. There's the backdoor. Porter Jr. beating Dunn. What a pass. What a cut.
Yeah, it was really nice work there from Michael Porter Jr.
This is Kawhi in the post, guarded by Murray. This is easy money for Kawhi in this series. Double team comes late, and that's not incisive enough of a pass. But then Porter Jr. and Murray, just both of them walked away from the hottest guy in the NBA playoffs. Awful.
Michael Malone probably broke a clipboard even just thinking about that.
I wonder what he's up to right now as Murray gets off for a three-point shot. That's something I think they could go to more, is really run that for Murray to get the open three. Here's Harden getting past Jokic, plows into Porter Jr. Zubac has the rebound, kick out Leonard. Murray stunts towards him half-heartedly. Leonard with the first missed three of the game for the Clippers.
They basically left him open again.
Now it's Gordon against Zubac, a matchup we've seen little of, and Gordon with the three-pointer. Much more offense here early. Denver has 17 points in just over 4 minutes. Kawhi blows past Porter Jr., kicks to the corner. Powell, good catch. Dunn moving into the corner. His three-pointer is down. Those are such key shots for the way he's going to be defended.
Chris Dunn, 6 points, leading Clipper scorer by a bunch right now.
Back screen for Murray. They switch Harden onto him. Then Gordon going at Dunn, and Gordon has hit 3 jump shots. Denver is absolutely on fire right now.
Aaron Gordon, 11 points, 2 of 2 on twos, 2 of 2 on threes.
Not a lot of stoppages. Low foul game, I think, plays to the Nuggets' advantage. Leonard getting to his spot. Murray ran him off of there. Powell wants to get him back to him. They should double team here now with under 3. And they blew the rotation. Lucky were the Nuggets here. This defense for both teams has not been great. Gordon trying to post up deep on Powell, and they're going to get Powell for that little thigh to the back.
Yeah, somebody asked the half court offensive ratings. I'll get it quickly on Clean the Glass. This is a fun time for it. Yeah, 180 for the Nuggets, 129 for the Clippers. And And Denver also has a scoring 3 points per play in transition, but I think they've only had 1 or 2.
Yeah, have the Clippers gotten a stop yet? Have they scored on every single possession?
I'm trying to. So they missed 1 shot. Jokic. Oh, and Jokic got the rebound. Yes, I don't. Let me look see if they have a turnover.
Yeah,
No, they do not. I believe they have scored every single time. Yeah, I mean they have that would make sense when you have a 233 offensive rating in the full game.
Wow. Yeah, this is the Denver offense that we thought we might see. Gordon, he's been left relatively open in this series. He did shoot that 40%. We're seeing some signs from him down the second half of the regular season of becoming a legitimate shooter. He's been more aggressive on those.
Is there really a big gap between Wemby and Chet? Defensively, I think there is some gap, but it's not that big. And then offensively, it's really the question is, will this the volume that Wembanyama had shooting threes over the last like 20, 30 games he played and them going in, whether that is real, whether he even builds upon that, because Holmgren, he can shoot it, but he hasn't done that kind of volume yet.
Wembanyama was a much better passer
Oh,
as
that's
well.
true.
And much better as a roll threat, if he ever rolled to the rim, that's something that could possibly be utilized. All right, thanks to Hoop Informatics for that. What is it called exactly on YouTube? I can't remember. Super chat, something like that. Appreciate that from y'all.
Andy thinks 2 days off will benefit Denver more.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, they have a lot less depth than the Clippers.
Yeah. Clippers have some older stars, but the as you said, there aren't that many players in the Denver rotation.
All right, getting some good numbers here in playback. Nice to see. See if we can catch up on anything here. I mean, the Clippers are 4 of 6 from 3, have not made a 2 yet.
That reminds me to pull up my shot charts. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll probably, if the other game ends up being close in the second half, we'll probably just switch over to that briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did the teams match up with the Grizzlies for the next round?
By the way, score there 50-37 in favor of the Grizzlies, about 8.5 to go in the second quarter.
Oh yeah, you've been asking this, Mark. I wanted to get to it. We just didn't have a great chance of where Jokic would rate among centers in 1995. If he was, so this is if he's playing in 19. I mean, he would be the best offensive center because he's probably the best offensive center ever. Shaq or Kareem might have a claim there. Jokic going into the post again. They tried to get Gordon against Powell, who defended it well. Now here's Jokic underneath Brown, and Harden defended him pretty well too. No spacing there for the Nuggets. Oh, what an inside-out dribble by Leonard, and he finishes. 4 Nuggets were back. None of them stopped him.
Yeah, great work there. And Kawhi Leonard, I think he kind of caught Jokic wrong-footed there.
Jokic left elbow. Murray shaded by Dunn. I thought Dunn ran into his back. That was a foul.
It should have been.
He should have flopped like Brunson. Here's Murray working on Zubats. That is a matchup that Murray has not been able to punish. That's been one of the bigger Nuggets problems in this series, I would say. Leonard double teamed. Dunn looking for 3 3-pointers. That one just rims out. That's his 4th attempt already, isn't it? Jokic with a looping pass into Gordon has the size advantage on Dunn. Dunn likes to go for the steal. Gordon gave it up to Dunn. Then he's blocked by Zubats. That looked like it was very clean.
And I did really like the early seal there from Gordon doing it. Chris Dunn is a great defender, but he's a lot smaller. And that's exactly the wrong camera angle to see that.
I mean, I couldn't see a foul there. Let's see if we get it here. I mean, looks
Oh,
pretty
that
darn
looks
clean,
really
unless he got him
clean.
down low somewhere. And Ty Lue. Oh, is that close to an Atkinson right there? Was that his as he called the timeout?
It was in the vicinity.
Yeah, I don't mind referees just sort of waiting for teams to figure out if they want to challenge before. Like, there's a complaint from the Nuggets that they didn't give the free throw shooter the ball fast enough. I'm like, the referees let them figure out if they want to challenge it or not. Score bug is flipped, probably. Wait, no. Looks like it's right. Or was it flipped on
No,
the
the
TV?
score is wrong. It's 20. The Nuggets have 20. The Clippers have 16.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that is wrong. Here, I'll message our tech overlords about that.
Grizzlies up 17. Would you still favor OKC to win this game? I mean, I haven't been watching it because we've been watching the other games, but my instinct is no. I mean, a team up 17, is going to be the favorite, even if you think the other team is better. And they're
Okay.
home.
So the Grizz are 9 of 17 from 3, and OKC is 2 of 10. But OKC only taking 10 right now is not great. OKC is also 7 of 12 from the line. Grizz are 9 of 10. So if you just normalize that shooting and free throw shooting a little bit, OKC is like pretty close to there. They still only have 3 turnovers. Grizz only have 1 turnover. They're going to turn over more. I mean, I think OKC is a good bet to play better than them the rest of the way.
Sure.
But it's 17 points is tough to overcome. Yeah, Scottie Pippen Jr., as was alluded to in the comments, is 4 of 4 from 3.
Yeah. After not getting a single vote for Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah, although I guess I didn't even give him mine, so.
You deserve this,
My
Nate.
hypothetical one. Here we go. Successful challenge.
But imminent possession for the Nuggets, so it's still Denver ball with 10 seconds left.
Yeah, that one, they called it, I don't know if y'all could hear that, but he said it was marginal contact with the body and no contact up top.
Yeah, I agree. Is that challenge worth it if they get the ball? Well, you get a foul off Zubats. That's pretty important. And Zubats, that would have been his second, right? No, that would have been his first.
Help me settle an argument with my brother. Higher playoff peak, Kawhi or Kobe? I think it is Kawhi. I think you'd be hard pressed to point to a playoff run that Kobe had like Kawhi's 2019.
And Kawhi had some other huge performances. I mean, that series against the Mavericks, was that in 21?
Yes.
Where he was the best. He was the best player in the world in that first round.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of what Kobe's best playoff series was. That series against the Suns in 2010 was pretty good. So Simmons is in now. Zubac's getting out early. Good pressure by the combination of Simmons and Dunn, and they force a backcourt violation. Great start. Ugly end to that ATO by David Adelman.
And Zubats is on the bench. They've been doing this with the earlier rest, and then Ben Simmons coming in. We'll see how it works. Here. I think that the Nuggets can and should do more to exploit Ben Simmons' offensive limitations.
Yeah, I thought that Nuggets zone was interesting. There's Powell missing that. I didn't get enough of a penetration there by the Clippers to even see if that was a zone. Westbrook looking for Jokic on the deep post up. He has to get out of there. Double team comes. Oh, yes. Yes. He completely looked off the weak side defender, and Brown went right underneath him. Beautiful work.
Was that Dunn that got back cut on by Christian Brown then?
I think Dunn came with the double team. I'm not sure who it was on the weak side. Harden splits that. Westbrook trying to harry him. Now Harden finds Powell in the corner with his own beautiful pass.
Oh, it was Harden on the back door. Thank you, Robbie.
Yeah, Harden usually is matched up against Brown. They double team Jokic and leave Westbrook. He's being guarded by Kawhi. Jokic bludgeons his way into the paint. Finds Brown again. That time it was Powell. Count it.
And one. Foul on Simmons. And Christian Brown having a nice start. 2 of 3. Remember, he had a pretty rough game too, including an important miss at the end.
So it's now Memphis 61, OKC 37. So yeah, Memphis probably going to be winning this game. Although we've seen some like 1 seeds get blitzed in this situation and actually get a comeback. There's only 4:50 left in the second. This is awesome. This is like I've never seen this in an NBA arena before. And they did get the miss. Like that, they are actually like really coordinated. It is like a student section. Simmons will set the screen for Harden. Kawhi getting a rest. Harden meanders into the lane. No passing angle. Gets it back to Jones. Late clock. They get it back to Harden. Good pressure there by Murray. Murray and Westbrook with a really nice job there on Harden.
And we'll probably talk about the Shams reporting on Jimmy Butler at the next stoppage.
Jokic. Yeah, actually, I love it. They didn't call the foul when Jokic did the Red Rover thing, and that's going to be a charge. Great defense by Simmons. He denied Jokic the position without fouling, even though Jokic tried the Red Rover move, and then he just stood there and took the charge on Westbrook, who is completely out of control. Batum flips the angle of the screen. They get Murray onto Harden, but they get their first attack with 10 on the clock. Double team by Westbrook off of Jones. Jones works into the lane, tipped out. Good defense by the Nuggets again. Here's Watson, back to Jokic. Simmons picks him up. He's just going to work his way back in. Hand off Brown and pick and roll. Double team on Blitz. They blitzed Brown, interestingly, and I don't agree with that tactic because you're just giving up an easy cut in that circumstance. Harden against the semi-drop coverage hits that 3. I'm okay with that if I'm Denver, though. I'm okay with that shot. That was a decent contest. Now Westbrook. No advantage for Watson. Oh, I thought he traveled there. Jokic on the face cut on Simmons, lost it, and now finally did lose it.
Yeah, pass was a little bit too high. Jokic has great hands, but that, I guess, was just a little outside his.
Jesus, Memphis is now up 28. 25-8 in this quarter.
Break up the Grizzlies.
Harden, same shot he just took, same shot he just made. And the Clippers are going to get a timeout forced by David Adelman. And, well, actually, I switched to the other game. They are now 6 of 10 from downtown and within 1, despite the fact that they've given up like 5 or 6 layups in the half court off of passes right now.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But actually, if you want to take a couple questions, I'm going to just write a couple notes down for the pod. But I will remind everyone, however, that we will be doing the pod live on playback exclusively after this. If you want to stick around, ask some questions about these games. And yeah, we'll probably even talk a little front office news too.
Yeah. But so the reporting from Shams Charania is that Jimmy Butler has a deep glute muscle contusion, and he might not play in game 3, but no fracture, no structural damage. So I would say relative to the potential, like the potential of like serious stuff, that's very good news for the Warriors. But if Jimmy Butler can't play in game 3, then that, his absence will make it significantly harder for them there. So let's say for funsies that Butler, like for me, the bigger thing that this might mean, and emphasis on the word might, is it's there's a lot of focus always on when a player is out. But and this is really, a lot of this is 2016. The when a player is back, are they right? And so for me, I think this makes it more likely that Butler will be right sooner, even if he misses game 3.
Oh, nice pass. Man, that's good. Simmons was trying to topside with Jokic coming off the screen and not enough pressure on the passer. That's one thing that Russell Westbrook can do if he's left open, is just slice him up with his passing. That was a beautiful look. Simmons not looking to shoot it. Also didn't hand off, and that is a total bullshit drawn foul by Norm Powell.
And this definitely, to me, shouldn't be a shooting foul. Like that was I'm not even sure it was ripped through, because I don't know what he ripped through. Like it's
I want to see that again, but
come on, NBA TV, you can do it.
we should be glad they even have the people at the game.
I don't get Ty Lue's Ben Simmons fetish. What is Simmons better at than Amir Coffey? I mean, he's physically bigger, which is important.
Being a center.
Yeah, I mean that's what they need. Is if Ty Lue doesn't trust Drew Eubanks to kind of fill the basic things that a center needs to do defensively, like if it's not Drew Eubanks, then it kind of has to be Ben Simmons.
Yeah, because nobody else can guard Jokic. Here's Jokic working on Simmons, gets right into the lane, double team. That pass didn't have any steam on it. Watson with a short floater, not really a very good shot. I thought Jokic should have just taken that shot, actually, even over the double team. And here's another cheapo foul, 2 in a row on Peyton Watson. That better not be a shooting foul.
Well, they might be in the bonus at this point. They have to be, I think. No, that's the 4th. Okay, so make sure so hopefully this is, yeah, that is not a shooting foul.
Actually, I think it might be. I think he just went through his arm. I don't think there was contact before he began the shooting motion. I think it actually was. Here's Harden getting into the lane, too easy right there that time. I don't think he got pushed particularly, but Porter Jr. just has to be better and just square him up and defend. The screener had gone away by that point. Simmons getting really physical with Jokic here. They'll switch it. Harden is on Jokic. Jokic gets the ball. 7 to shoot. Who's going to cut to the basket here? They leave Westbrook open above the break. Not really a threat from there. In the corners, he'll make it. From there, no. Simmons goes down. Jokic goes to the double team. Simmons is back into it. Under 8 seconds to shoot. Harden on the step back over Pickett, and that's a matchup he can really exploit. If you have someone who's just too small on Harden, it's a big problem. And this is danger time for Denver right now because they've played great. Jokic is about to sit. Lucky kick ball there as Westbrook tried to get it to Jokic where there really was no space at all.
You're right. When things go well for your team and you're still trailing, because then you think that it can get worse from there.
Jokic underneath Westbrook, though, was well defended by Batum. Rescreen. Westbrook's 3 is off. Again, above the break, not really the shot they want, but with 5 on the clock, he had to take it. Yeah, this has been a pretty rough offensive group for the Nuggets. Watson and Westbrook unable to make the Clippers pay for the double teams on Jokic. Basically, no differential here. Jokic not even guarding Batum, and he's wide open. What was that coverage?
I have no idea what that was.
Maybe Jokic was just tired. I mean, he just stayed there and double teamed like there was no screen. Batum had long cleared the area. Maybe he was expecting someone to rotate, but there was no one else on that side. And yeah, you got to be feeling very bad about things right now if you're Denver. Clippers 9 of 13 from 3-point range.
Yeah, no, apparently, I mean, we're not watching it, but getting from a bunch of people that there was that Jaw fouled bad by Lou Dort. We'll have to watch that later.
I'm going to go see if I can find it actually since we got a break.
Oh, if so, back to the Simmons question. If you're gonna bring a ton of help anyway, who cares if Coffee is smaller? Well, it's because you need somebody who can hold up a few beats before you bring the double. That really makes a big difference. And also, like, Coffee is a better offensive player than Ben Simmons, but I don't think that the margin. Oh, here we go. Just a sec. Just a sec.
Let me see here. It looks like
I'm
let's
full
see.
screening the clip.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was an accident, honestly. Like he slipped as he was trying to get back into the play. I actually don't think there was anything bad there. I'll watch it again, but
I'm gonna watch it one more time. But my first read was that wasn't it wasn't intentional.
yeah, no, I mean it's just unlucky.
Oh yeah, and that's a great point from Brian that Kawhi wasn't on the floor for that Clippers run. Makes it even better. And they did that in game 2 as well. They went on a big run. Oof. Hoping for the best for Ja, as always. I mean, you never want key players to get hurt, and you really don't want them to get hurt in what I mean stunningly is a Memphis blowout. I mean, Ja's not. I mean, they're up. They're up 29. I think you would probably, unless things got really out of hand, even if he was feeling good, you'd keep him out as a precaution. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, hopefully his shoulder's okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. User error.
It happens.
I opened the video in playback, and then I was like, "Oh, I got to close this window," and then I also closed the playback window.
I mean, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as when I did that on one of our strategy streams.
So what do we got here now? 7-point Clipper lead. I would say that overstates what we've seen. How well he's played. Why hasn't done much yet? This has been the period when he has really started to get off in games.
Your audio is a little garbled, but I think that it'll come back.
It's the usual, probably. Well, if it doesn't improve
People are saying you should swear to get it working again.
yeah, that's right. So Zubats is back in. He's guarding Watson. They're not going with DeAndre Jordan this time. Tough fadeaway by Murray is no good. Here's Leonard on a quick attack against Pickett. Good dig by Gordon off of Zubats to stop him. But it's right back in his hands. Here's the three. Oh, just rimmed out. Zubats on the glass, beating the small lineup.
And Zubats playing without Jokic, it is an interesting use of it, but I mean, you can see the advantages he can create. And woof, that Michael Porter Jr. jumper was off.
Gordon able to recover it. Is my audio better, by the way?
Yes, yeah, it got better.
Okay. And Gordon with the three. Porter Jr. flew in, couldn't get the tip. Clippers can push it to double digits for the first time here. Zubats looking to post up on Murray. Leonard throws it to him. Help is too late. Bucket.
King of the hook shot gets another one.
Yeah, and because the Nuggets kind of have the worst of both worlds right now because Watson isn't a good enough shooter to space out Zubats, and Zubats has a massive advantage inside. Now Watson picked up by Bogdanovic, missed the pass to Pickett, and Bogdanovic, good rotation, but Batum blocking Gordon from behind.
And Pickett being reluctant to shoot that three is a big problem for Denver because they're going to generate those, and you need somebody who can take it.
Yeah, the pass was too slow to him, though, I would say. Here's Jones, fires the three. Inside, Zubac's at position. Jones took the three, and it's a 14-point lead. Immediate Denver timeout. 7-0 run with Nikola Jokic off the floor in less than 2 minutes.
What was the Jimmy Butler update? So he has a deep glute muscle contusion, no structural damage, no fractures, anything like that. But there's doubt that he's going to. I mean, they said his ability to play in Game 3 is in serious jeopardy.
Yeah, so a muscle contusion, that's obviously the best thing it could be for the long term, but it's also in some ways more of an impediment in the short term because you actually like need that muscle to work and fire. Whereas if we're the bone, that would kind of be more of a pain tolerance issue. But if there's a big contusion in the glute, then the muscle is not really going to work, and that could impede the functionality more.
Yeah, so my thought when I heard it was that it might be less likely to play in Game 3, but maybe he'll be closer to normal later in the series.
Yeah.
Will you likely favor the winner of Game 3 for all West series except OKC? Yes, I think so.
I don't know if I would favor Houston if they win, as long as I know Butler is coming back and will be himself.
If we put in those caveats, but I mean, my thought is like I kind of have to believe it when I see it in terms of that because we won't probably. I mean, if we don't see him in Game 3, but with Lakers Wolves, I definitely do. I talked about that a lot on the pod. That I think that it's a big opportunity for Minnesota.
I wouldn't say. I mean, because I always say this. All right, yeah, we did our job. 1-1 split. If you're really going to feel great about winning the series as the road team, you need to win both games 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be up 3-1 because the stats on being tied 2-2 going into Game 5 really favor the home team. Not that you can't win it. Yes, this is now 23-2 run. That Batum block was fantastic, by the way. And honestly, if you showed, starting in 2021, basically, when you first came to the Clippers, if you showed anyone film of Batum as this like power forward / small ball center, blocking shots at the rim, he never had anything like that until he came to the Clippers that I recall.
Definitely did an early career. I don't think he did mid-career.
I spent most of the early career focused on how he actually just wasn't good enough at D to be a 3-and-D guy.
Score update on the other game. It is currently Memphis 73, OKC 48, minute left in the half.
Yeah, usually if you're going to see a comeback in that circumstance, it'll happen at least somewhat before the half. Good pressure by Jones on Murray, who almost goes down, finally gets off the screen, gets into the lane, and Jones hit him from behind. Not good defense there by Derrick Jones Jr. when you've got them struggling to give up a foul like that. He's right there behind him. It's going to be a difficult shot. So Murray hits the first free throw now. 13-point Clipper lead. In this series, too, yes, I would favor the Clippers just because I think they've played way better so far. But I would also, like, Denver can get right back into a commanding position in the series just by winning Game 4. So DeAndre Jordan now has come in. They wanted to go more offense, I think, just for that ATO, but now that they have a free throw, they want to get Jordan in because they're getting dominated on the boards. I don't know if that's going to help things too much. But I really like the approach of Ty Lue. You know, we were critical of him separating Zubats from Jokic, but they are winning these minutes by so much that I think it's worth it. I thought Simmons was pretty decent on Jokic too. Bogdanovich, kick ball. Jordan, they don't call it. I guess his foot was stationary. Bogdanovich down to 6. Corner Batum. God, that no dip 3 is so fast.
And that was also a really good pass from Bogdanovich.
It wouldn't surprise me if he tells guys, throw it to me high so I can just shoot it and get off faster. Gordon went down. Batum, yeah, I mean, that was unnecessary by Batum. Completely unnecessary because he already was in position and Gordon tried to flop down. But then after that, he tried to continue to impede him, and he just wasn't in position that time and picked up a needless foul.
I mean, Christian Braun was right there. It was just such a fast release.
Oh, yeah, in the Batum corner 3. Yeah. Jordan at the elbow looking to get Murray out of the corner. Jones follows him, gets in front. Not much of a screen there by Jordan. Murray working on Jones. Jones too much length there. Jordan trying to fight it up, and he's fouled.
That was much better defense, though, by Derrick Jones Jr. He was in position, trusted his size, didn't jump on anything. That's exactly what you want to see from him.
Yeah, and Murray, he's not going to be able to effectively isolate against Derrick Jones Jr. Right? Derrick Jones Jr. is actually one of the toughest guys in the league, I would say, to isolate against, unless you are way stronger than him. And even then, he's gotten pretty good at backing off and using that crazy length.
And Stop It Sim says Batum was solid for 4-1. Oh, he absolutely was. He was just a very different player than he is today.
Yeah, that trade that Charlotte made, I think it ended up being Noah Vonleh, who obviously was no good. I knew that at the time. But like the 9th pick for Batum, that's one of the few times actually that we've seen a pick in the lower end of the top 10. The other one was Jason Richardson for Brandon Wright.
Yep.
There have not been many of those, that range of picks traded. Oh, Aaron Gordon actually committed a violation there. They didn't call it. He went inside the three-point arc before he had shot it. Leonard guarded by Gordon. Bogdanovich sets the screen. Get the switch. Kawhi. Gordon waiting in his airspace. Murray tried to come in from behind, and he did get him. Nice play there by Murray. Jordan sets the screen for Murray. That's a better screen. Murray gets Jones on his back. Good help, though. It doesn't matter. That was good help by Bogdanovich to force him to pick up his dribble. But because the screen was good initially, Murray had plenty of room to work. Bogdan stepping back for 3. This just has not had the touch. Really, pretty much all season. Leonard putting Gordon in the mix. Gets off the ball. Batum eluding Christian Braun. And it drops. Everything going down for L.A. They lead by 16. Murray rejecting the screen to get away from Kawhi. Has to fire it mid-range and scores. Jamal Murray starting to heat up. I like this approach of him just shooting every single time. They're trying to show more help. Like Bogdanovich came with help on the last possession, and Murray just made it. Leonard gets to his spot, and that's just easy money. Christian Braun can't even begin to bother him.
And Nate, the Clippers have a 180 offensive rating in this game so far.
That's unbelievable. Good closeout by Kawhi on Porter Jr., but the footwork by Porter Jr. to step sideways, Kawhi didn't want to get underneath him for a foul. That shows how good Porter Jr. can be getting his shot off. Weak side corner, Jones 3 left it short. Nuggets very much over shifting right now. They're trying to take it out of Kawhi's hands. They go under on Braun. He'll take a 3 off the dribble. A rare attempt from him. Kawhi pushes it up. They don't communicate well enough on him. Give it back to him. Now they're going to go in the post instead to Zubats. Zubats backs in, and he's reached in on by Jordan.
That is the first team foul on Denver. The Clippers already have 3, actually. And Jokic is coming in. I mean, that was a fairly long rest for him. 15-9 in favor of the Clippers during Jokic's time off.
It's always interesting, the rhythm of a series, Danny, even with things going so poorly. David Adelman sat him for 5 minutes longer than he had, I believe, in the first 2 games. Then he played the whole second half in game 2. It seems like games 1 and 3, they'll usually kind of more of a feel it out. Let's play more guys. Not so many minutes. Games 2 and 4 with one team down are a lot more difficult. Here's a tough 3 by Leonard. Jones, airplane mode's in. And Jokic with a good contest. He's had a couple of those. Jokic getting off the ground defensively, which we don't much see. Here's Westbrook left wide open. And he cans it.
And it's an above the break one. Doesn't usually hit those.
So Denver getting back into it with their jump shooting. I wouldn't overreact to this if I'm Ty Lue. I think even Murray, like, they're defending him pretty well. I'm not I think especially the way the Clippers are scoring, that I'm not going to be so worried that we're going to start letting Jokic operate more on the interior.
Shot charts are pretty interesting so far. So we talked about jump shooting for the Nuggets, and that has a huge part of the run. The Clippers have only taken 5 shots in the restricted area compared to 11 for Denver. They're only 2 of 5 on those, 3 of 6 in the upper paint, and then only 1 mid-ranger, which they missed. And then the Clippers, they're 12 of 20 on threes, and they're 4 from the corners. All the rest are above the break. They're 10 of 16 on above the break 3 so far.
Well, and not only have the Clippers shot 12 of 20 from 3, but they've got 7 offensive rebounds already and only 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
And they've made all 4 of their free throws. Nuggets continuing their typically poor foul shooting in this series. Yeah, we didn't even have time to talk about it. Jokic had 8 assists in the first quarter. And those were like real assists too. I think like 5 or 6 of those were for layups.
Brian doesn't see Denver's defense contain the Clippers enough to cover for Murray getting hot. Well, I mean, here's the thing. The Clippers they've drilled their 3 so far. They're 12 of 20. You know, it's sort of like what we were talking about a little bit with OKC. It's like if you regress that to the mean, and things start to look a little bit different. And as I mentioned, the Clippers are barely doing anything from 2. They haven't had to because they're making all those 3s. So like, I think that it's possible. Like, I mean, but it is going to take a couple of different things going well for Denver.
Quick programming note here. For those of you on YouTube, this will be one of our last YouTube streams, but I encourage you to download the Playback app. They now have a rewind function so you can sync up, or if you have NBA League Pass, you can also just watch the game in that window with our commentary synced up. If you're American, you would have to get a VPN to stream from outside the United States, but if you're international, obviously you can sync up much more easily, and then you don't have to worry about any of the syncing stuff. Was the upgrade from Sterling to Ballmer the biggest in history? I mean, probably. I think even Sterling, I wasn't like truly covering the league with Sterling. And then when he hired Doc Rivers, it was like he had kind of started to step back at least a little bit. They got Blake Griffin. Like, they weren't a total joke. Of course, for 20 years they had been, 30 years they had been before that.
I'm not too good on the other sports, but I believe it's the biggest one that's happened in the NBA.
Yeah, I wouldn't know the other sports.
It seems like the Washington Commanders one is pretty massive as well.
Nice look there by Kawhi. That is going to be important here. Kawhi has grown as a playmaker. Good pressure by Batum. Gordon's trying to get him into the offense, and they've wasted almost 10 seconds. Gordon now tried to go at him, kicked to Westbrook. That pass didn't have enough steam on it to Brown. Jokic has to fire the three, recognize the situation. That actually, interestingly, is Jokic's first three-pointer. It's been a totally different strategy for Nikola Jokic in this game as opposed to the last one, when he really operated above the three-point line most of the time. Done on the cut underneath Zubats, kicks it. Leonard. Close out by Russ, blown by. Leonard actually short. That was his worst miss of the series, probably, on a shot like that.
Yeah, Kawhi's 3 for 8 from the field in this game.
Brown gets the rebound among two Clippers. Gordon back to Jokic. Jokic going to back in on Kawhi. Wants to go left shoulder here. Help comes from Dunn. Good help by Dunn. And Porter Jr. misses that. Another offensive rebound. Westbrook has the corner three this time and missed it. Clippers fans loving that. Harden on the push. Goes right through Brown. That is just awful defense. Brown has really been unable to deal with Harden. Deep post by Gordon. Batum has been fantastic. Harden transition three. Went down to try to draw the foul. They get it ahead to Jokic. Jokic floats it up. Oh, Batum again!
That was
what
awesome.
A play!
And Batum knew it was a pass the whole time and just stood there. That was really, really nice recognition.
Harden has the matchup on Michael Porter Jr. Let's see if this is going to be considered a shooting foul. Porter Jr. got the hand in, and we're starting to see now the Denver Nuggets were doing a pretty good job of loading up on the Clippers, making them play a little bit slower. The Clippers at home have been running more, and as a result, they've gotten matchups in transition. They haven't had the help loaded up, and we've seen Porter Jr. and even Christian Braun get taken advantage of pretty badly right now.
And on the ownership discussion, a good note from Josh that we should have thought of: the Warriors going from Chris Cohan to Lacob.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to outcomes.
The other thing that amuses me is that, like, Ted Leonsis and Josh Harris are, like, good owners in their other sports. I actually think the NBA has overall pretty decent ownership compared to the other sports. The Suns went from worst owner to worst owner. No, I wouldn't say that's true at all. I don't even think Sarver was the worst. Like, they made the finals with him as an owner. Like, he's bad, but he's no Vivek. He was bottom 5. Westbrook in the corner again, not even close. Airballed that corner three. Denver's offense, after that amazing start, in 4 minutes had 20 points, and they had 20 points since. There's Kawhi going back right shoulder. This is turning into a blowout. And that, like, Denver, if they're going to let the Clippers get up in transition, and the Clippers have been inspired by the crowd too, like, Denver can't possibly defend them in transition and semi-transition because the Clippers just have too many scabs to pick at with their great isolation players. Are we coming back for the second half? Let's see what happens the rest of the way here. How bad is it? 77-51 at halftime.
Well, and there's also something tricky with some of these ownership when we're evaluating ownership in terms of how they affect the on-court versus some of the off-the-court elements, which of course are prevalent in a few of these, including, of course, Robert Sarver.
Would the Clippers be better with Paul George instead of the cap space they got? No, I don't think so, because they got Jones Jr., whom they couldn't have gotten. They got Batum. What did Batum get? He got like $5 million?
I think so. I mean, he might have taken the minimum again. He'd done that before.
Possibly. Yeah, I don't know we can say for sure. that he
They
wouldn't have done.
probably would it would have been because they would have been a second apron team. They probably couldn't have gotten Chris Dunn either.
No, no, because that was a sign and trade.
Yeah. And I don't think he would have gone for the minimum.
Yeah, I mean, Jones was the highest paid guy. They definitely couldn't have got him. Good denial by Dunn. Murray has to launch it into the front court. Cross screen for Murray. Comes off another one. Dunn stayed with him well enough. Good nail help from Powell, and he forced Murray to back up and missed the long two. Clips looking to push it to 20. They've got more transition. Kawhi pulls it, left it short. Back down, Jokic. And we're going to get a little chuck here on Zubac because Jokic turned forwards. Zubac's no longer allowed to put the forearm on him.
Second foul on Zubac's fourth team foul, so not free throws for Denver.
There's the Red Rover foul by Jokic.
But I thought that Dunn kind of put his arm into it, but that should be free throws. And no, they caught it. The 3-point shooting disparity is pretty ridiculous in this one. 12 of 21, that's 57% for the Clippers. 5 of 16, 31% for Denver.
Yeah, and we're really seeing now Denver is getting back to their starting group, which was awesome as Jokic continues to miss free throws in this series. Jokic does not have an assist in the second quarter, by the way, after 8 in the first. Westbrook is 1 for 5. All 5 of them are three-pointers. Harden with Jokic switching onto him. Braun gets back into it. Oh, what a pass by Harden, and Zubac smoked it. That should have been on the highlights. Zoo did well to get back, though. Handoff Brown. They go under on him now into the post. Jokic. We haven't seen much of this recently. Gordon's hanging out on the weak side dunker spot. Jokic just fires the jumper. And that's a great recognition by him because the last time he turned and face, Zubac got called for a foul for putting his forearm on him and getting too close. So that time he just took the shot over him. Zubac is going to get hacked here by Gordon. And James Harden, man, that guy knows what to do when you put 2 on the ball defensively. He just doesn't panic, he gets low. You might be like, yeah, why is he getting close to the sideline? But the reason he's doing that is so Zoo can get lower and he has a better passing angle to him right under the rim. Powell out of the corner finds Zubac easily. Nice play there. And Jokic is looking like, hey, what are we doing on that one? But, I mean, the Nuggets, like, if you're putting 2 on the ball outside the three-point line, like, you should be getting carved up. Especially if you don't have, like, OKC's athletes. Porter Jr. can't buy one. He's had a couple of chances. Harden off the Zoo screen again. Gets low again. Out top, Dunn. Rotating out of the wing. Missed it. Zubac. Oh, he kept it alive among 3 Nuggets. Harden off the screen. Goes right in. Too easy. Count it.
And that's the rim protection. It was a scramble play, but the rim protection from the Nuggets, Harden drove in. There was absolutely no resistance. This is an interesting question from Math Guy. Is there more room in the league for this kind of Kobe-style ISO game Kawhi has, or is it a relatively different era? If you can score at the level Kawhi does in an isolation game, there will always be space for it. And I think you can also argue that with more three-point shooting, there's actually more physical space for it. You have to execute it really well, but yeah, absolutely you can do it. And post-ups are a little bit trickier because of some of the defensive concepts and all that. But a true ISO, I think if you're as good at it as he is, then sure. If there was a clone of Kawhi, it'd still be great.
I'd recommend actually people go check out Ben Taylor's video on Kawhi's game too, because the way like guys are digging in on him, and he just is completely unbothered. Jokic backing in. Harden goes for the hard double. Oh,
What
yes!
was that
What a
pass?
pass off against the triple team. Nobody has that level of calm. Like, he's about to lose the ball, and he finds Brown, who missed it, but then it was a nice tip by Gordon. Sadly, no assist for Jokic there. They've
He has
got
enough. He has
Jokic
enough of
hanging.
them already.
So they've got Jokic now on Jones Jr., one of the few times they've gone to this, but they have to because Zubats is out. And Jones Jr. goes right to the rim. Man, the Clippers could have even more if they weren't missing these layups. Here's Gordon going in. He lost it from behind off his knee. I think it was Powell who got him.
And on that last one, I think Powell got a little bit of tunnel vision. It might have been Chris Dunn that was open for a three, but I'm not 100% sure. It seemed like it was a wide open three.
Wait, well, didn't he pass it to Derek Jones Jr. for a layup?
No, the one
Oh.
after that.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry. Harden gets past Brown again around Gordon. Kind of got clipped. Kawhi goes up. Gordon stopped him, and they're going to get a travel here on Kawhi.
I thought that got blocked.
Yeah, that was odd.
Kawhi doesn't seem to be fighting it too hard. He's not bothered.
No. The Red Rover foul is how when Jokic is trying to run to a spot, he acts like he's running into two guys who are holding hands like in Red Rover, and he just like moves his stomach backwards and keels over. Murray going right at Jones Jr. for a layup. Nuggets getting a few little buckets here with the Clippers paying a little less attention. They also have Zubats off the floor. Now, this is the first time that the Clippers have gone small. Interesting decision. I think it's worked out pretty well offensively. Batum going to set the screen and Kawhi into the post. Jones underneath. Oh, yeah, they totally fooled Aaron Gordon there. Great pass by Kawhi. Murray gets it off, hit the rim, but the Clippers dominate. And the biggest thing I thought was their defense after that start. Denver only had 27 points in the last 20 minutes of the half.
Yeah, Denver's half-court offensive rating below a point per possession after they were like at 1.6 in the beginning of the game.
All right, we'll be back for the second half, but might not stick around too long if it doesn't get closer. All right, second half. That was quick. It always seems that way, though, doesn't it? What do you think Denver do other than get more layup baskets at this second half?
I mean, it's interesting because Denver, they had this absolutely molten stretch at the beginning of the game where they were they were getting a lot of things around the basket, and then the Clippers defense tightened up. Denver's now 8 of 17 in the restricted area and 2 of 7 in the upper paint. So that is, for those of you who can do math, which is not me right now, they're 10 of 24 in the paint, and your team has the guy with the best touch in the universe.
No, it's a great point, and the Clippers have just been flying around. They've been playing way harder than Denver. Denver can't win if they're not playing harder than the Clippers. They're getting smoked in transition. That's the biggest thing, I think, is the semi-transition from the Clippers, where Denver they just have to set their shell defensively. I love Ty Lue going with Batum at center too down the end. That was a nice little adjustment. Good job by Kawhi getting over the screen. So Jokic will just back up. That's just such good recognition. He saw that the Clippers were worried about the back doors. And so he's just like, all right, I'm going to back up and shoot the three. 17-point game. Backdoor Kawhi. He's got Murray on him underneath. They need to look that way. Instead, they run the pick and roll. Zubac swings it. Harden. Nice defense by Porter Jr., forcing him to his left. Now Powell's three-pointer off the heel. And Dunn gets it. God, that guy's so fast. Now Kawhi has the matchup on Murray. Jokic trying to come over in the strong side. That's a great pass by Kawhi. Did you see that?
Yeah, and it was a good seal by Zubac, and he threw it kind of like a good quarterback to wide receiver in a spot that only Zubac could get it. And that's a foul on Aaron Gordon. What number is that for him? Like 2?
Oh, it's a really...
That's 3 on Aaron Gordon.
Yeah. It was a very weird place to seal on the opposite side of the lane. But Gordon is trying to get inside of him, of course, to prevent that pass. I loved the way that he sealed that off because, hey, even if Kawhi shoots it there, you're in great rebounding position as well.
Memphis's lead is down to 13.
And Ja is out. I hope OKC just comes back and wins that.
Well, you're not the person who picked OKC in 5.
I am.
Oh, did we both?
I think we did.
I'll look it up later.
There's the late switch of Zubac onto Murray again. Murray just has not taken advantage of that matchup at all. Dunn fighting hard to front Jokic. Then he boxes him out well, too. What a defensive possession that is by the Clippers. Chris Dunn fighting against Nikola Jokic, who's got a foot and 100 pounds on him. Kawhi up top has the matchup against Brown. Works to his spot. This is going to be a bucket. Wow, no, Kawhi has not. That's actually the one thing that's gotten wrong for the Clippers. Kawhi has not been as dominating, but everything else is going great. Murray going to run the pick and roll, rejects it. Powell got a hand on it. And that there, you would think it should just go to Jokic at the foul line against Kawhi. Instead, they tried to run pick and roll, and Powell disrupted it nicely. Here's Murray fading way to his left, never really got his feet under him. And that's the Chris Dunn effect. He really felt he had to rush it even when no one was there. Now Powell going left, blew by Christian Brown. Christian Brown, his defense has not been good tonight individually.
And that was also horrendous Nikola Jokic rim protection.
Jokic gets it back. Zubac is there. Jokic didn't go quickly. He had an opening. He tells Brown to go through. Jokic, he walked.
Yeah, a little out of sorts for Jokic. And then remember, was that game 1 or that was game 2 where he had, like I said, it was the worst passing game I'd seen from him in years.
All right, we're switching. Also, because it'll probably lead to less work.
That's a great point.
Yeah, the zone looked good very early. They didn't ever go back to it, but that time they beat it up pretty badly. All right, this is our first second watching this game, so forgive us if it's going to take a little while to get up to speed.
I'll pull some stats as we go. Leading scorers, it's a tie between Scottie Pippen Jr. and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Pippen Jr. 5 of 7 on threes, but he was 4 of 4 in the very beginning of the game, so that means he's 1 of 3 since. And then Shea 8 of 19 from the field. This is his third straight relatively inefficient game.
Yeah, I've been impressed by that aspect of Memphis's defense, but if we get some clutch time, it'll be up to Shea to bring him back. It's back to 15. It had gotten as low as 12. Jackson is guarding Caruso here. He's going to look to help off of him. Williams off the ball. They've got Shea on the bench, and nice job by Jalen Williams. Just sometimes being faster than whoever's guarding you can be a big advantage as a cutter.
Memphis 113 half court offensive rating, 97 for OKC. OKC, and we've seen some of this. Their transition frequency is only 6%. That's super low. We've seen some of that this playoffs, and we'll see whether that's logging or whether that's just really good transition defense. I'm going to keep an eye on that.
So Ja was in the midst of a nice game, plus 16, 15 points, and he had only missed 2 2-pointers and had 5 assists. And Memphis has only 14 points in this quarter. That's where it's really fallen apart for them. There's pressure by Wallace. Pippen goes away from it. Oh, and Wallace snuck up behind him. Hopefully Caruso's all right. Looks like this is going to be a loose ball foul here on Pippen. Pippen, it looked like he had Wallace beaten easily, and Wallace competed and got back into the play. Oh, man, that could have been really bad on that left knee of Caruso. So, again, they're going to have Caruso handle up top. Similar action to what they just ran. Joe coming off this Caruso screen. Hartenstein lays the wood. Joe is wide open.
And now it's back to a 10-point lead again.
Yeah, the limitation of Edey there, not going to get out on that play at all. And Hartenstein set a great screen. Joe, good denial on Bane. Good pressure by OKC. They finally get it to Bane, but the possession is totally short-circuited. Bane has to go to nice pass to Edey. That was a beautiful look. I thought he was going to the fadeaway, and Hartenstein was beaten by Edey to the basket. Here's J-Dub off the screen. They're going to switch this with Zach Edey. Interesting. J-Dub blows by, but Aldama coming over as the 3-man, gets the block. Jackson Jr. threw it ahead. Pippen did well to run it down. Jackson into the lane. He gets stripped, and now Pippen's going to go to the line.
That was quite the play by Santi Aldama.
Yeah, first block of his career, I think. Maybe we should check that on Basketball Reference, but
it feels like the first one.
Yeah, they're going to need everything they can get from Scottie Pippen Jr., and it's quite a big ask to be a primary defender on Shea a lot of the time and really the only ball handler they have. Bane can do it, but they're going to want to have him off the ball more. Presumably Bane is going out now, and I would expect to see him start the fourth quarter as the point guard.
Yeah, I would expect that as well. It seems like there's going to be a combo of Scottie Pippen and Luke Kennard during this stretch.
It's 30-18 in this quarter for OKC. 14-point lead. There's J-Dub, turns it. Corner Caruso. Sorry, that was on the wing. And here, I'm going to flip the feed, actually, because we're getting the OKC feed. Oh, sorry about that. Maybe I have to re-add the feed. I'll do that during the break. Here's Caruso getting a steal at half court. Pippen went to complain. Joe gets the layup. Good pressure by Caruso against Aldama. That's asking Aldama a lot to take it up against Caruso. Edey lays the wood on the screen. He knocked Caruso completely backwards. And then Joe lost Luke Kennard. That was a big miss on the three.
I was able to switch the stream.
Oh, nice work. Thank you. Here's J-Dub working against the double team. He correctly identified Wallace being open. Oh, right underneath is Caruso. That's just not good enough. But Caruso smoked the layup. That's one of the worst ones you'll see. Hartenstein, and he's run into by Edey.
That was a nice pass from Hartenstein to Caruso originally, though Caruso smoked the layup.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was about as bad as it gets. I think he couldn't believe that he was that open because it took Memphis forever. Look at the two guys in the opposite corner just giving each other a hug, and nobody ever got over to Caruso, and somehow he just hit it off the bottom of the backboard. Hartenstein missing the first free throw. Memphis in position for a 2-for-1 potentially now.
Hartenstein's night so far, 4 points, 1 of 3 from the field, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers. No blocks, no steals.
We got a question. Is anything potentially advantageous for the Grizzlies to draw out? You would think, ooh, that was close to a backcourt violation, and now they're stuck. He's got to take a timeout. So they're not going to get the 2-for-1 now. But if they weren't replacing him largely with Luke Kennard, I would say defensively.
Yeah, this Memphis team, it's something that Nate and I have been talking about a lot since the trade deadline. They just don't have enough good players. And so and especially to fill some of the most important niches on the team, like, generating offense. And so Ja has his flaws, but they don't have anyone who's anywhere close to as good as he is. If they still had Tyus, maybe.
The other game is a 19-pointer right now, and with Denver unable to make up ground with their starters, doesn't look great. Also, we heard Russell Westbrook questionable to return in the comments, so check that out. Left foot inflammation for Russell Westbrook. Apparently Chris Paul is at this game, and they showed him on the big screen.
He's at Thunder-Grizzlies?
No, he's at Denver Clippers.
Denver Clippers?
Yeah.
I mean, he played for one team in both of these matchups, so. Oh, but CP probably, I'm guessing he does his offseason in L.A.
So 28 seconds left. They take him out of the 2-for-1. Holmgren is returned for OKC, and a kickball violation won't affect the shot clock. 16 to shoot. Pippen getting a break. Bane is back in for the final possession. Into the post, Jackson triple teamed. Weak side, Kennard. Good close out there by Holmgren. And Bane has to step back on Dort. Not close. OKC can get the final shot. Surprised they didn't come back with Shea here.
Yeah.
I guess it was a defensive possession before this. Change the angle of the screen on J-Dub. He's going to go at Aldama and hit a huge three. It's 8. That's as close as it's been.
That's bad recognition from Santi Aldama. There's not enough time left for him to do anything but take that shot, so you sell out for the shot.
I completely agree. So this would be, what was the largest lead?
Give me a second. I can get that.
It's 80-57 now in LA, so I think we're going to be Solely focused on this one. 36-18 third quarter for OKC.
Biggest lead was 29 for the Grizzlies.
Oh, so this would be the largest comeback in NBA playoff history? Yeah, I think it would be. Wasn't the... And what was it at halftime? It was close to that at halftime. It was like 26 at halftime? Yeah. No, 27 at halftime.
It was 26 at halftime.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yes, these. I can't argue with the immutable laws of math.
Is Kawhi a good contract, or at least not a bad one? I mean, he's definitely a good contract when he can play. And I mean, we're not that far removed from Kawhi having a pretty healthy season. But if you have to pay $50 million to a guy who's on your bench half the season, well, then it's a little bit worse.
Yeah, but the Clippers were able to handle that.
They
were
were
able to still win 50 games with half a season from Kawhi, and really only probably a quarter season of Kawhi at a high level. Yes, the 31-point comeback by the Clippers against the Warriors. I was at that.
We were at that game. Yeah.
How soon we forget? 6 years ago.
What a different world.
Yeah, you have to think with Ja out, Memphis is in trouble in this game. But I mean, the minutes for OKC, that's the other thing too, is the minutes for OKC are not crazy right now.
No, I mean,
usually it's, they expended so much energy to come back. It's like, well, they have so much depth, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Now, I will say Mark Daigneault fucking around with Jalen Williams here for 4 minutes, -11. Aaron Wiggins, -13. Like, I'll have to go back and watch a little of that if the Grizz do win and see how they got up by so much. But it's not a playoff rotation by Mark Daigneault. And when you have a chance to put him away 3-0, I think you actually do put the hammer down and try to go get it.
Oh, that's a great point from Rev. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if the Thunder come back, would be a part of both of those games.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Shai going to play the whole fourth? I don't think he is, actually. I think he's on 29 minutes, so they usually like to keep him in the high 30s.
Yeah, I think he'll get a little rest. And they've also cut the margin reasonably well in the last little bit without him.
Oh, yeah. Jalen Williams was for Hartenstein foul trouble. Yeah, well, that's why you have to actually watch the game instead of pontificating without that. Although, but Jalen Williams was in the regular rotation, I think, in the first 2 games as well. So,
yeah.
Konchar is in, and yeah, Shai is back. Konchar is going to have the matchup against him defensively. Bane coming off the Edey screen over Holmgren, can't get it. Good contest by Chet Holmgren. That was a nice screen though on Dort by Edey. Shai going right at Konchar, breaks his ankles, can't get it. Just hasn't been making that shot in this series. Holmgren eluding Jackson. Nice pass underneath, but Caruso doesn't go up with it. They'll try again through Wallace up top. Couple of chances there for OKC. They didn't take advantage. Could have cut it to a 2-possession game. Bane off the rescreen by Edey. Dort stays with him. Jackson going at Caruso. Caruso got him. He got him with a steal. Not a ton of impetus here for OKC, but Holmgren able to get open in the corner, and OKC is missing these chances now to make this really interesting. Jackson trying to post up. Caruso daring him to throw that lob pass. Back down Jackson, triple teamed. Can't get off the ball. Has to force it up, and he scores somehow.
It's amazing that he even got that shot up, much less that it actually went in.
Shai, pick and pop by Holmgren. Shai able to get to his spot against Edey.
And Nate, not to give you an aggressive rooting interest in this game, but you picked Thunder in a sweep. I picked Thunder in 5.
Same thing they just went to. Jackson splits the double, goes in, stopped by Holmgren. It's loose, still loose. Caruso took it away from everyone. Shea tried to get a timeout, and he's done it. What a play by Caruso.
Caruso's foot might have been on the line there when he first touched the ball, but that's a really hard thing for the refs to call.
It is, yeah. Do you consider it a problem for OKC that they have to put Caruso on Jackson?
Yes. I think it's a problem that will not like cause them to lose to lose in this series. But yeah, I mean, their lack of true like big forward sized guys is a fundamental limitation, and it's a part of why a Thunder Celtics series is so intriguing to me.
Well, I think they can guard the Celtics. I think it's like, they don't have a great LeBron James matchup. Like, it's more that size of guy, I would say, who's going to really brutal, like a good power forward.
Like a big 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, they could put Chet on that guy. Like, they have options. J-Dub is out right now. He could be a guy that they go to. Still seems like they really want Dort to guard on the perimeter, not guard a big.
By the way, Clippers are now up 85-62.
All right, I think we made the right decision here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and again, like Caruso's doing fine on him, but this isn't the Bulls, right? Like when Caruso just had to guard the best player on the other team, regardless how big the guy was. And you do end up having to double team. Now, as I've said, OKC likes to have their cake and eat it too. If you double team, you can force turnovers. They trust themselves to fly around behind the play. But I would like to have the option of not having to double team once he really gets it.
It would take a lot more thought. Good question from Chris about what transaction has grown on you the most since your initial opinion. I want to pick one that didn't happen, which was I was a huge advocate for the Kevin Love trade that the Warriors didn't make, and turned out pretty well for them to just keep the guys they had.
Yeah, certainly the PG not re-signing him would be up there. Especially because he struggled so much this year. Now, would things have gotten the same with the Clippers? I don't know. But I think it was useful that, yes, Kawhi is unreliable, but everyone else that they have is pretty reliable. They don't have Ben Simmons be the other one, but they didn't bring him in until the buyout market. And that was actually one of the biggest holes on their team was that backup center position. Did the Warriors still win multiple titles if they trade for Love? I don't believe so. I'm not even sure they would win one because it would have just compromised their defense so much. Then also, I mean, that's the other thing. Remember, that summer, Draymond Green isn't even projected to be a starter.
Yeah.
Like, Draymond Green would have just been a guy. They would have just had Bogut and Love, and they would have just not had the defensive versatility. I think they would have just lost to LeBron. Because Love didn't actually even help the Cavs that much in those matchups. Like, arguably, Cleveland came back in that series in part because Love got hurt and they had to lean into defense more. So they tried to get a Cason Wallace post up on Luke Kennard. What a cheeky out of bounds play there out of the timeout by Mark Daigneault. That's the sort of playoff-specific wrinkle I really wanted to see more of from Mark Daigneault. Just, yeah, you know what? Luke Kennard is not physical. We're going to just – nobody's going to be expecting it. We're just going to get a quick bucket, and now it is down to 6. Caruso trying to get into Jackson. Holmgren in a drop. Backdoor. Konchar has to get off the ball. Pippen, can he make it another 6-3? Konchar is fouled, and then we get a wedgie after that, but not good enough from OKC on the glass that time.
First foul of the fourth quarter for either team. So pretty low. About 20 fouls per team so far. So not the lowest school fouling game so far, but just not in the part we've watched.
Why not Nuggets Clippers game 3 like the thumbnail is showing? Well, have you seen the score of these two games? We have the ability to switch, and we have done so. But we do not have the ability to change the thumbnail.
And thankfully, the score bug switches as well for those of you who are on YouTube.
Yeah, a reminder to everyone on YouTube, we are going to play back exclusively within the next few times as Edey just can't get out on Holmgren, and that is off of a free throw. They basically just got almost a fast break dunk, and that's something that's difficult for Memphis to deal with Edey guarding Holmgren. They love to get Holmgren the ball as that trailer, and that's difficult for Edey to get out there. Kennard picked up by Shea. Kennard tries Shea, and Caruso all over it. They never really forced any kind of help. That was a great read by Caruso, knowing that Shea and Holmgren had that contained, and he could get back to his man. But yeah, if you're gonna close out there as Edey, you can't just like let him go straight to his right hand on that closeout. I realize he's slow, but at least make him do something other than like slightly change direction. Difficult inbounding for Pippen, gets it back. Oh, I thought he got fouled. Pippen is cooled off after the 4-4 start from downtown. Edey off the switch. Shea backs up. 3-point game.
I thought that I wanted Chet to make more contact on that screen, but he didn't need it to get the action they wanted anyway.
I mean, they're switching it. They are switching Zach Edey onto Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, it looks like the last couple times. Jaren blows through, but Dort came in from behind. Edey tried to save it, and he was on the line.
I think they called a foul here. Did they call a foul? They called a foul on Edey. No, on Shea. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Did you see the contact there?
No, that was just out of bounds. Or no, maybe it was a foul. Okay. No, I didn't see anything.
From Time Lord.
That's a good comment right there.
Time Lord. However, this game ends, the biggest upset of the night is the NBA selecting the right game for TNT.
Aldama comes to the ball to rescue Bane after Pippen fell down. Bane against Dort. They slip out of there. Bane going at Dort. Didn't get enough steam on the pass. Wallace coming down from the top. Contested well. That was all because Bane did not get enough steam on that pass. Aldama was open.
The Memphis Grizzlies have scored 4 points in the first 4 minutes of this quarter.
Now Shea going against Conchar, and he's going to get 3 free throws to tie the game.
We might have to call this one early. Who knows how it goes? Was that also potentially landing zone?
I only if his feet land on Shea's feet land on Conchar's, which they didn't. When you say landing zone, you mean a possible flagrant foul?
The Pachulia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess one of those actually. Far be it for me to defend Jalen Brunson, but I thought he actually got Pachulia, and they didn't even look at it in the previous game. More free throws for Shea. And he's tied the game at 99. Surely Memphis is going to struggle to score now. With Ja out, that really seems to have been the turning point. Jalen Williams is back in. He's guarding Jaren. They switch it. Aldama, late clock, tries Shea. Maybe that's a slight thing to pick at. Conchar eluded Holmgren, but he couldn't cash out the corner 3. OKC can take the lead here. They've been down as much as 29. Shea backing down on Pippen. Gets to his spot. Blocked by Pippen. What a play. I don't know how he got up there. I thought Shea was going to be open. And now Bane on the attack, and he's hit. That was a huge play there by Pippen. It looked like Shea was totally comfortable getting to his spot.
Somebody said OKC's negative 154 on the money line. Well, I mean, they should be heavy favorites to win this game, considering how both teams have played.
Memphis staving them off for the moment with a Bane free throw. Two free throws for Desmond Bane. I'd go right back to that Shea Holmgren pick and roll. Now they've got Jackson on him, though, so maybe they want to go a different way. They're going to get Aldama onto J-Dub. Oh, what a move, but then he got taken away from behind. It was Pippen who got him again. Pippen into the lane. Closed down. Jackson closed down himself. Goes to the spin. What a move by Jared Jackson Jr.
And the Grizzlies had 4 points in the first 4 minutes of the quarter. Then now they have 4 cents.
Now they do get the switch of Shea guarded by Jared. Shea gets to his spot, didn't get fouled, tried to draw the foul. It bounces around. Oh, Aldama lost it, and it'll be OKC ball again. Nice response here, though, by Memphis after OKC tied it. This was a series of beautiful spin moves by Jaren Jackson. That is a difficult shot. He's flying towards the baseline here. Jackson going to get a break. He's looking pretty tired. They should get him back in as soon as they possibly can. But now that Edey is in, it should be Shea pick and roll at Edey
every single time.
Yeah. Hartenstein is back in too. Holmgren will get a break. Shea going at Edey. That's what they wanted along the baseline. And Shea got stopped. Kennard made a nice play. Shea just got to be a little more patient there to keep the dribble. Dort bothering Kennard. Kennard, they force you way out on the floor, OKC does, to run your offense. But here's Aldama going right in with the slow step. He beat Shea pretty easily that time. 6-0 Memphis run. They're not out yet. There they go at Edey again, this time through J-Dub. J-Dub warded off Pippen and got to his spot and lipped it in. Who are you closing with as Mark Daigneault here?
I think
Aldama almost fell down, and there it is. It's a 2-on-1 now. Caruso back to Shea. Oh, he smoked it, but Caruso is right there. Oh, the Grizz. They had 3 guys back. They could have gotten that rebound, but they just assumed Shea was going to make the dunk, as did I. Bane has it. Oh, that is out there. Just hit it out. He had so many of those in Chase Center last Tuesday night. OKC can tie it again here. Shea looking a little tired, barely gets it across. Jackson is at the table, so you don't want to take a timeout here. Shea has Aldama. Good help by Bane off of Dort. Dort gets open. Edey rotates over, and Dort somehow made that layup.
There wasn't much space between those giant wickets, but Lou Dort got it in there.
Yeah, I'd like to see Lou Dort, if they're going to play him that way, clear out to the three-point line. Pippen is open in the corner. Gets it off and hits.
By the way, that seemed like an egregious Lou Dort flop trying to get a foul on Zach Edey.
Yep, yeah, and that really put him in a compromised position. This has been a heroic effort by Memphis to hang on here with OKC coming. This has been a long stretch with no stoppages. They'll put Edey into pick and roll again. Hartenstein switches it behind the back. Shea wants to get it back. He's looking pretty tired here. He'll take the 3. Left it short. Edey with the one-handed board.
And Nate, you asked me what my closing 5 would be. I think it would be the starters, except with Caruso in place of Hartenstein.
Pippen. And we're going to get a hold on Caruso?
I think so. Yes, that is the call.
What is the challenge situation right now?
That's a good question. Both teams have their challenge available. Memphis has 3 timeouts left. OKC has 2.
No, that's a foul. That's a foul on Alex Caruso.
Yeah, his hands
Yeah, he
there.
doesn't like what. Why is he putting two arms on him?
Yeah. Is that gonna be a challenge from Daydont? Yes, it is.
Okay, I don't like that challenge. I think I didn't see much to indicate it wasn't a foul. Maybe there's some other angle that's more exonerating. Are we also on another streaming platform right now? Yes, we are on Playback, which is where we're going to be after the next couple of days exclusively. It does have a pause button. I think it's just a superior platform overall, especially because you can get all the game and us in one window synced up if you have NBA League Pass and in some cases a VPN. Um
And
yeah,
so,
so
so
yeah, go ahead.
sorry,
Sorry.
just so people have it, playback.tv/Nate Duncan NBA. Oh,
Yep.
I'll put it on the YouTube.
Yeah, don't love the challenge. I completely agree there. And as far as the closing lineup, I think Chet needs to be in it. I like I probably would take out Hartenstein. He hasn't had the best game. Although, like Dort and Caruso it's a little tough, right? Like I might want to choose between those two guys. I would probably go Caruso over Dort in this circumstance. I don't like Dort hasn't had the best game himself either, but
And they're not putting Dort on Jaren anyway, so it's not like you're getting that benefit.
no. Well, yeah, I think you're probably putting J Dub on Jaren. Yeah, another rough game for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 31 points, but the 9 and 9 free throwing doing a lot of work there. He's 10 of 26 from the field. Yeah, the Memphis Grizzlies 31 points in the second half, but they still lead it by 3. And I think it really bodes well for Memphis that they've held on to this degree with OKC having a couple of chances to take the lead and not doing it.
Yeah, and I mean that 6-0 run when OKC tied the game was a really good response.
Yeah, with Ja out, I don't think there's much reason to put both Dort and Caruso out there. I think Caruso is better than Lou Dort.
Clippers still up 20 with 8:47 to go in the fourth.
Yeah, that's crazy. Denver again, they started off so well with that 20 points in the first 4 minutes and like they just haven't been able to score against the Clippers. And that's the crazy thing about it. Box score in that game, Jokic has 19 and 12 assists, 13 rebounds. Murray actually has been okay. All right, let's see it here on this challenge. Successful challenge. I disagree with this. Like look at his right arm. He's like reaching in across his body. I realize Pippen kind of goes up through his arm after that, but like that's a foul on Caruso. You can't just like put your arm out there and push the guy so you can also get over the screen.
And so are they calling that? So are they calling that an illegal screen on Edie?
No, just a
Yeah.
non-foul. Oh, it's an offensive. Oh, offensive
Okay.
foul on Edie. Okay,
Okay.
all right. That's different.
He was a little outside the cone. I didn't think he was that far relative to
Yeah.
the stuff they usually call.
No, I mean I blew that one to not even look at that aspect of it. Being honest, there. Here's Shai going to go right at Bane. Pippen with a good dig gets out there to still challenge J Dub. What a defensive play again by Pippen. He's been awesome in this run. That could have tied it. So Aldama will be the one to bring it up. They've got J Dub on Jackson. Hartenstein is guarding Aldama. So they're trying to spread the floor here. And I think they're going to run it through Jackson or Bane. They swing it. In fact, it is Holmgren, no Hartenstein as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe this is the exact lineup that I said I would play.
So 7 to shoot. Memphis never even got into the attack zone. Kennard sets the screen for Jaren Jackson. They're almost at 5. Holmgren on the denial. Now they're really late. And they are going to lose it. Caruso has it. No, Pippen runs it down, and they got a fresh shot clock. Pippen again. Now they need some offense. Bane getting off. Now it's Pippen, and looks like it's going to be a hold on Dort.
It is going to be a hold on Dort. That is Lou Dort's 4th foul. Shea has 5 fouls. Hartenstein has 4. Edey, Pippen Jr. have 4. And Jaren has 4.
Shea is on Kennard. He'll run the pick and roll with Jackson. Shea gets over the screen, rescreen, switch. They've got Jackson on Shea, but it's late clock. Jackson powers in, goes to a tough floater, rebounded by Hartenstein. Or sorry, by Holmgren. The H's confusing me. So they got to involve Kennard here, but he's on Dort, so Dort's not really a great screener. Instead, they're going to involve Aldama. He sets it. Aldama not switching. They pop it out. Caruso on the drive into Pippen, out to Holmgren. 3 is good. That's a huge shot by Holmgren and a tough one. But you see with both Caruso and Dort on the floor, it's much harder to take advantage of those weaker Memphis defenders. Tie game again. Memphis taking forever to get into anything. Jackson trying to post up. Caruso's on him. Jackson gets to his spot. No, he's stripped.
What a hands.
Caruso got him. He knew he wanted to go to that lefty floater off his right shoulder. Back to Shea, who's looking pretty tired here. But J-Dub should screen for him. This is terrible process here. They got Kennard on J-Dub. Kick it out. Holmgren for the lead. Missed it. Memphis still breathing here. That was a terrible possession.
I mean, there's an obvious sore out there. I don't even think Luke Kennard should be on the floor because they're not running the offense through him. So attack.
That time they did run it through him. Aldama just sent that 5 feet over the basket. Everyone's exhausted right now. Here's J-Dub. They're running the time down with it tied. Sets the screen. Does Shea. He's trying to get inside position on Pippen. They try to drive the front. Pippen got over that. Pippen is still there. Late clock. OKC. Oh, and a terrible foul. Was that Jackson?
No, that was Scottie Pippen Jr.
Oh, man. He was going for an impossible shot. They do have a challenge here, right?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great shot over a great contest by Chet Holmgren to give him the tie. Hopefully we'll get a replay on that foul on J-Dub. Bricked it.
Ooh, missed the free throw.
And OKC just cannot get over the hump. They've
Thunder
been tied 3 times.
Thunder 19 of 26 from the free throw lines. They've missed 7. The Grizzlies have missed 4.
This for the lead. Finally for OKC. Here's Bane guarded by Dort. He waves everyone away. He wants to go at Shea with the 5 fouls. They'll just switch it. No, they don't. Dort gets back. 5 to shoot. Bane gets Dort in the air. Dort recovered and contested him. And then Aldama shoved Holmgren into the baseline. They are not, however, in the bonus. It's not an over the backbreaker, but
no, shouldn't that be the second foul in the last 2 minutes? Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, because TNT can't get their bonus graphic correct. That is an awful foul.
And there wasn't much contact, but he had his hands on the back, and I think Chet sold it a little bit. But if you have 2 hands on the back and you're not in position, you lose all benefit of the doubt.
Well, and Chet isn't gonna try to like send himself into the baseline like that. Like he sold it once he realized that he had been shoved, but he was shoved. So Edie's gonna come in here. Does this augur a timeout right now, or are they just? Yeah, I think that's probably what this is.
The Grizzlies have 2 timeouts left.
Yeah, you would think they wouldn't go with this ultra big front court on an offensive possession. I love Alex Caruso. He's got 2 7-footers boxing him out,
Oh,
and he
they are.
still is trying as hard as
They're
he
not
can.
calling a timeout.
Okay, interesting. So they maybe I think if you're down here, you want to go as everybody hit the offensive glass. Edie sets the screen. They try to get Pippen, but the pass was too low, and Caruso took it away, and now Dort's on the ground and gets it. What a defense this is by Oklahoma City. Alex Caruso has dominated defensively in the last few minutes.
His hands are incredible.
Absolutely incredible. And then Dort is a wrecking ball. They had the play set up. They wanted Edie to screen and try to get Pippen popping. I don't know why they wouldn't have just put Kennard in then. So OKC now can run it down. They should do that. Oh no, they called a jump ball. I thought OKC.
Caruso had control of that.
Or Dort had control of it.
Or Dort,
yeah, they didn't want to use their last timeout. Daignault actually used it on the challenge. So Edie has the big advantage here. That's a huge that was a jump ball instead of a timeout. I thought maybe they had fouled Dort or something.
I mean, it seemed I thought Edie did. They should call fouls in that circumstance more.
Yeah, Edie doesn't have a huge place to tip it to, and OKC gets it. No, what are we going to get here? A foul on Edie. He held him down.
Didn't need to do that.
Free throws.
Oh. I want to see it.
That is a killer. The Grizzlies stepping on their own shoelaces.
Oh, yeah. He uses his right hand to just smash Lou Dort in the face. What in the world are you doing?
And Dort is a flopper, but he didn't need to flop that time. So the Oklahoma City Thunder making trip after trip to the foul line without even having to get into the attacking zone.
But they've missed a lot of these.
Yeah, Memphis needs to take a timeout here to try to get the 2-for-1. Yeah, Edie I don't think he even was trying to do anything there. He just, in jumping, put his arm down to try to jump higher.
But he tipped it deliberately with his left hand, and so what else are you doing with your right?
Yeah.
This is a big free throw for Lou Dort.
Yeah,
and Memphis does still have 2 timeouts. They should definitely use one here.
Yeah, either way, they should use one just to make sure you get the 2-for-1. Yeah, they took Kennard out, put in Edie, and he missed them both. Good timeout here.
Yeah, great timeout. Clippers up 100-78. By the way, that 78 is jaw-dropping when you consider how Denver's offense began that game.
Yeah, so it's mid-fourth, so it's basically Denver has 58 points in 3 3/4 and 2 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, they're 7 of 22. At one point, they were 3 of 6 from 3. And Clippers' three-point shooting is toned down, but only a bit.
Yeah, they're 15 of 35. That's 43%.
Yeah, Denver's offensive rebounding hasn't been a big deal either. Clippers have actually dominated them on the offensive glass. They've won the possession game. Yeah, it's been a thorough ass kicking. Every Clipper who's played is positive plus minus. And Russell
And
Westbrook
and
never
and
did return.
and no Clipper has more than 20 points. They have a very, very egalitarian scoring distribution right now.
Yeah, again, I would evince some concerns here about this Thunder late game offense. Like, if you have someone who can handle Shea, they're these screeners for OKC to go after the weaker defenders. It's not really working. But we're not out yet here. Conchar is going to be the inbounder. Kennard is in. Jackson is in. They've taken Pippen out. Bane is who they're going to run the play for, you would think. Jackson sets the screen for him. J-Dub switches onto him. Now Kennard pops out. Caruso was all over it. Now Bane has to come off the screen. Kennard, Caruso is there, forces him inside the arc. And Shea with the stop, with the 5 fouls. They get the rebound, three-pointer. Conchar can't get it. Holmgren has it. He gets the outlet. They're going to throw it ahead to Caruso, and he's not going to smoke this one.
And now Memphis needs to call their other timeout because now you need to score twice quickly.
I would not have called it there. I would have pushed it up and tried to get a 3 immediately.
Yeah, and then saved it for later. Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, especially, like, you're not going to make a sub. You've got your all offense lineup in. Now, I would question John Conchar being on the floor there. Not your best shooter in the world. Pippen is probably the guy I would have gone to. Now, yeah, I mean, I guess is Pippen like in foul trouble? Like, I'm trying to think of why. Yeah, he does have 5 fouls. So maybe they felt like they didn't want to have him out there if they had to foul. But I mean,
you have to score
the game's
first.
over if you don't score. So, and if they'd scored, hopefully they wouldn't have had to foul. But I mean, OKC was all over that initial play. Caruso knew exactly what they were running. Shot the gap on Kennard, took away the 3. It was just awesome. They switched it perfectly initially. Then they closed out again, ran him off the line. It was just great defense there. Kennard was lucky to get the ball back. And now why would you go? Oh yeah, I guess because they're on offense. Sorry, that's a good reason to put Kennard out there.
It's the only reason. Yeah, so this is lining up to be the second largest playoff comeback in NBA history, only surpassed by a 31-point Clippers comeback against the Warriors in 2019.
Yeah, Memphis has 31 points in the second half. They get it in. Ooh, that could have been a foul. Bane barely missed it. Caruso has it. He'll run it out. They will foul, or they won't have it called for a little bit. All right, that's going to do it. We're going to be back, though. I'm going to watch a little bit of the first half probably and catch up on my notes from Detroit, New York, maybe watch the end of that. So about 30 minutes or so. Let's call it 10 o'clock. We'll be back on Playback here, exclusively on Playback, playback.tv/Nate Duncan NBA if you want to join us for the live pod. Or, of course, you can listen later when the pod itself comes out. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you all next time. And, yeah, we don't know what our next game is going to be, but we'll keep you informed of that very soon.